Welcome to your path of mastery and the intentional community experience. Many people move through life reacting to circumstances without fully understanding the deeper forces shaping their experience. Thoughts, emotions, habits, reactions, patterns, relationships, choices, all influenced by unseen principles operating beneath the surface of everyday life. For thousands of years, ancient wisdom traditions attempted to understand these deeper forces. One of the most profound systems emerged from Kamitic, what many now call ancient Egypt. Within the Kamitic ancient Egyptian tree of life, known as the Paut Neteru, we find a symbolic map of the principles and forces influencing human thought, emotion, behavior, destiny, and spiritual growth. The Tree of Life illustrates how different spheres of existence interact within both the individual and the universe itself. Not merely as mythology, but as a living system of inner awareness and transformation. Modern students of Kamitic spirituality were deeply influenced by the teachings of Ra-Un-Nefer Amen, founder of the Osar Osset Society, whose work helped bring many of these teachings into practical modern application. Through these teachings, many people began recognizing that life is not random chaos. There are patterns, principles, laws, and when we begin understanding them, we begin seeing ourselves more clearly. The 11 universal laws explored within this experience are inspired by these deeper principles of awareness and inner mastery. Not as rigid rules to fear, but as living principles that help us comprehend the relationship between inner experience, outer experience, thought, emotion, energy, action, and outcome. One of the most important shifts begins with awareness itself. Learning to observe your reactions, your emotional patterns, your habits, your inner dialogue, without immediately identifying with every thought or feeling that arises. Because much of human behavior becomes automatic over time. Repeated reactions become habits. Repeated habits become identity. And repeated identity begins shaping destiny. But when awareness enters the pattern, something powerful begins changing. You begin creating space between stimulus and response. A pause before reacting, a moment of observation, a deeper breath, a more intentional choice. And although these moments may seem small, they gradually begin reshaping the direction of your life. This path is not about becoming perfect, it is not about suppressing emotion, and it is not about pretending to be endlessly positive. It is about becoming more aware, more intentional, more aligned, because what remains unconscious often repeats itself, but what is clearly observed can begin transforming. As you move through this experience, you may begin noticing patterns you had never fully recognized before. Certain emotional reactions, certain fears, certain cycles, certain ways of speaking to yourself. Do not judge yourself harshly for what you observe. Awareness is not punishment. Awareness is liberation. The more clearly we see ourselves, the more intentionally we can shape our lives. And this is where the 11 laws become deeply practical. Not abstract philosophy, but living guidance for relationships, emotional mastery, discipline, healing, purpose, energy, awareness, and intentional living. Over time, these principles begin moving from intellectual ideas into lived experience, and from lived experience into embodiment. So as you move into the 11 laws, move slowly, observe deeply, and allow awareness itself to become part of the transformation. Because awareness is often the beginning of mastery.